I will now discuss some models used to explain exercise adherence. The first model is the trans-theoretical model of behaviour change. In this model there are 5 stages. The first stage is pre-contemplation. This is the not ready stage, where the individual is being encouraged to think about the positives and negatives of that behaviour, which is what John's parents are doing to try and get him to start swimming again. The next step is the contemplation step. This is the getting ready stage, where the planning to partake in the behaviour is taking place, which for John would be him getting ready to start swimming again. The third step is the preparation stage, which is the ready stage, in which they are beginning to take gradual steps to actually start the behaviour. The penultimate step is the action stage. This is actually doing the behaviour, which would be John going back to his swimming lessons, but they need to keep working hard so they don't fall back into old habits. Finally, the last step is the maintenance step, which is where they have changed and this behaviour is now regular and sustained. If they do not continue to maintain this behaviour, it is possible to relapse and fall back into bad habits. The next model is the health belief model, in which 4 main steps are present. The first step is the perceived threat. For example, are you at risk of a negative health risk? For John, his risk is gaining weight, as he comes from an overweight family and he is now not exercising regularly. The next step is the benefits and barriers. Benefits to John starting swimming again, as he will lose weight and get fitter, but his barriers are his confidence. As soon as he felt he had failed, he gave up. The third step is cues to action, which is the process of developing strategies. This is what John's parents are doing for him by seeking advice to get him back into his swimming. The final step is self-efficacy, which is having the self-confidence in yourself to actually take on the action. And this is what John needs to do in order to get back into swimming. And so, the final model in this theory is the theory of planned behaviour. This has 3 components. The first component is behavioural attitude, which means how the person thinks and feels about the behaviour. There are 2 types of this attitude. Affective attitude, that means whether the behaviour is enjoyable or not, which for John swimming used to be but is not anymore. And an instrumental attitude, whether the behaviour is beneficial or harmful, which for John swimming is highly beneficial in helping him avoid gaining weight. The next component is subjective norms. This is support given to the person by significant others. Again, there are 2 types of these norms. One type is injunctive norms, which is encouragement from others, which John is getting from his parents, and the second is descriptive norms, which is seeing others do well, which for John should be his classmates, but them doing well has made him adhere swimming. The final component is the perceived behavioural control. He thinks whether the person is capable, which John is, and confident, which currently John is not. So in order to complete this theory, the individual has to be able to overcome the barriers and challenges, which is what John needs to learn to do in order to get back into his swimming. So that's my video on motivation and exercise adherence.